What is shaking? It's time for the 49ers post-game bonanza. We've included fire. Wanted to get the fire ready because we are going to do a Thursday night post-game. Berg's going to come over on Thursday night, so it'll be dark out here. Ooh, it'll be spooky. If this thing moves, you guys have to let me know in the comments. Like if it starts going like this and like looking one way or the other, then we might have an issue. So we got the fountain, we got the fire. And the Niners, I guess, stopped dancing between the raindrops today. They actually got wet today. 4 turnovers, a special teams touchdown that they gave up. You're not going to win a lot of those games. The fact that they actually had a chance to win the game was somewhat miraculous. And it ended fittingly on a turnover as Brock Purdy gets sacked and the Jags take over and run out the clock, and that was pretty much all she wrote. So, I mean, I said 3-1 would be good coming out, heading into October. It would have been nice to get 4-0. I thought they had a great chance to get 4-0, but look, they've been playing with fire, pun intended, a lot this season, and finally got burned. So they got wet, they got burned. I'm not sure which one it is. I do know they ended up losing the game, 26-21.
They did lose that game too. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that Jacksonville won that game. It was a battle of attrition. 4 turnovers to even have a chance is amazing. And their defense, they gave up some stuff early, but I thought they did a nice job of getting the ball back for them in the second half, getting them those opportunities.
Yeah, no, I mean, they hung in there. That's the best I can say. They didn't play a clean game by any means. You brought up something we'll get to in a second about Brock Purdy, but you know, Purdy didn't play bad. He was 22 for 38, 309. He did have the 2 picks. The one was tipped. The one was a bad throw. But I guess, and you brought it up, he missed a lot high today. And I don't know if that's because the toe's still bothering him and he couldn't follow through completely and bring that ball down. But even some of the completions he had over the middle, one to Jennings, one to Robinson, that I remember, were up in the air, and they had to go get those things. And then he missed a couple. He just sailed them.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get over his front foot. And
yeah.
If you're when the ball's sailing like that, you're not getting over your front foot. You're throwing off your back foot. And it was his left foot and his left toe that hurt and that he hurt. And when you're trying to throw and step into it, if it was bothering him, not just the high throws, I just didn't see a lot of velocity. I saw a lot of, he never has a huge arm, but he has a better arm than what he showed today. And I would attribute those high throws to the toe. I really would, just because if you watch him, a lot of the times he was throwing off his back foot, even when he didn't have pressure. You know, he'd kind of fall away from it, and you know, he hasn't played in a while, and he didn't play in the preseason much, so really he hasn't had a lot of action. Period. And you know, the receivers didn't help him with all the drops. There was 3 or 4 drops that were big, and you throw those into the equation, and might be a different story, but. Yeah, they didn't deserve to win this one. When you have 4 turnovers at any level, especially at the NFL level, you're rarely going to win those games.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I'll check just to make sure. I think it was 4-0, wasn't it?
It was 4-0, yes.
Yeah, the Jaguars didn't turn the ball over, and the Jaguars got a special teams touchdown. So, again, special teams comes back to bite the 49ers. It's amazing if we can get through 1 week without talking about special teams, and not in a good way. I can't remember the last time we talked about the 49ers special teams in a good way. I mean, it's probably Robbie Gould. I remember Moody hit like a game winner against the Packers in the playoffs. That was a big time field goal. But I mean, just so often over the last couple years, we talk about special teams. It's cringe. It's just like, 49ers special teams. And again, 49ers special teams blow it again. And it started with the gunner just running right by, who was it, Tootin? I don't know. I think it was Tootin that returned it, but I'm not positive. No, maybe it was Washington. Or it could have been a third guy, too. I don't know.
It ceases to amaze me why guys do
wearing
that.
A teal jersey. I do know that.
And he runs full speed.
Right by him.
And it's not going to do you any good to just run full speed. They're just going to sidestep you like they did. And then they get a clear run. Instead of, he comes to balance right there, forces that returner to make a move and actually start flat-footed. Then the pursuit catches up. But when you run right by him and give him that lane, it's a foot race. Yeah. And the kicker wasn't going to get him on that. That's for sure.
No, he was not going to get him. Like if you're running full speed and you make a guy make a move and take a step to miss, that's one thing. He was already by him. Yeah. Like it was just a clear shot after that. But again, 4-0 turnovers, special teams touchdown against. You're not going to win those games. You're not going to win those games. I thought after the ATN run in the first half, I thought other than that, I mean, the defense played well. I think that was I don't know, I'll have to go back and check, 50-plus yard touchdown. They outgained them like 389 to 330 something. So now I don't want to say you can't count that run for a touchdown because of course you have to. It's like saying, what'd you shoot today? 74, except for the 13 I had on hole 14. I was fantastic. Well, those count too. So, but my point is yards per play, aside from that play, they did a really good job against, I'm not going to call them a high-powered Jacksonville offense, they're really not. And then Lawrence is still, to me, kind of a very average quarterback. But they hung in there. I thought the way the season was going, what they did in Seattle, what they did against Arizona, that they might find a way in this one, but it was just a little too much. And it was fitting that the game ended on a turnover.
It was. And, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the exact now. There was a point where San Francisco was accepted at least 11 penalties. I think there was one more after that. So they were benefited by the mistakes that Jacksonville made as well. And that's what kind of kept them in the game. And in the first half, it was frustrating. And I think it's pretty evident right now that the 49ers got to do something about their pass rush.
Yeah. 12 turnovers, by the way, or 12 penalties.
12 penalties accepted. But the lack of pass rush in the first half, they didn't bring guys they were rushing for. They couldn't get to the quarterback. And Lawrence, who we both think is a mediocre quarterback in the NFL, I don't care who you're on, if you give them that kind of time, they're going to find somebody. And they converted a lot of third down and fours, third down and fives, which are short little passes because he had all day to throw. Second half, they started bringing guys and they put a little bit more heat on him, and he wasn't as effective. And I think that's got to be their formula unless they do something to go out and get a pass rusher, which I don't know who's available.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps bringing up Hendrickson for the Bengals, but they're 2-1. I mean, it's not like they're saying, hey, our season's over. Let's get rid of this guy and get some draft picks for him. I mean, it may happen 2 or 3 weeks down the line. Maybe they lose 2 or 3 in a row and they say, okay, I see the way this is going. Burrow isn't coming back until late December. Let's see if we can get something for him to make us better next year. That I could see. But I mean, right now, the Broncos haven't been playing great. And if the Bengals go in there and win, they could be 3-1. And they're not going to look to get rid of players. No,
not yet. It's too early. They have an opportunity to win that division. And, if you have an opportunity to win the division, you're not getting rid of guys.
Yeah.
And like you said, if Browning keeps laying an egg, who knows what they're going to do. They may try to go out and get a quarterback. They may go out and try and get Russell Wilson, even though he's past his prime. He is probably an upgrade compared to what Browning's doing for them.
Yeah. Just had a comment that said Brock was awful today. I don't think it was awful. He just wasn't. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. Maybe not even good. He was okay. He made a couple nice plays in the second half where he scanned all his progressions, found McCaffrey, scanned all his progressions, found Bourne on the left-hand side. He just wasn't as accurate as you think he's going to be. Again, the one pick was tipped. We both thought that might have been picked anyway.
Yeah.
There's a chance it would have been picked anyway. The other pick wasn't a good throw. And then the fumble. The one thing I did notice, and this could be the toe as well, he didn't get out and run much.
He did it one time.
And
he was effective on it, and he came up a little bit lame. You can see it kind of hurt him when he did it. But even that last play that he fumbled, normally in that situation, he stepped up. Usually he'll take off.
Yeah.
And he'll step up, and he kind of held on to that ball a little bit too long, obviously too long since they stripped the ball from him. But when he takes off, when he's healthy, that's a 10, 15-yard gain. Because there was a lot of daylight in front of him. And I just don't I get the feeling that they might have brought him back 1 week too early.
Yeah.
And I understand why they did it. He brings a lot to the table, and it's a shot in the arm for the rest of the offense, but he just didn't look like himself today.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the status is on Pearsall. We'll know more. I don't think it's serious, but who knows? I think we said last week via reports that it wasn't an ACL on Bosa. Well, it was an ACL. So we'll just wait for all the reports to come out. Again, I don't think it was a huge deal, but who knows? We were talking about knees and legs, but Robinson had a catch, didn't do a ton. Again, the passing in was just okay today. The biggest concern I have right now is they can't run the ball.
No,
they don't run the ball. And this is like a Kyle Shanahan coach team. That's what they do. they run the ball. And I don't know that there's been a game this year that Christian McCaffrey has hit 4 yards a carry. Maybe one, but for the most part, they can't run the ball, and that sets up everything in this offense. I mean, this offense works a lot off play actions, boots, all that kind of stuff. But when you're not running the ball, that kind of stuff doesn't work nearly as well or work at all. So I don't know what's going on with Trent Williams obviously has lost a step, but I don't know what's going on with the running game right now. But that's always like a hallmark of one of Kyle Shanahan's teams, being able to run the ball, being one of the best running teams in the NFL. And they're not even close. In fact, I bet you if you looked at yards per carry, they're probably bottom 10.
Well, I think a lot of it also has to do with the personnel that they have out there. With no Pearsall in the game, Jennings who's coming back, he got banged up a little bit today too. Without Ayuk, without Kittle, you don't have to double anybody out there. And if you don't have to double people, you can bring another guy up into the box. And when you bring another guy up in the box in the NFL and you have an extra guy, it's difficult to run the football. And I think that's been a big issue for them right now, is that they're getting one-on-one from the receiver positions and they're not able to beat people. And they desperately need to get some of those guys healthy. And that will open up the running game, because right now they're keying on the run and they don't have to do anything special in the pass game to stop the guys that they have. I mean, they're playing with guys that at the beginning of the year, if you'd have told me that Tonjes was catching another touchdown and we're throwing the ball to Robinson, who hasn't played it down this year, and Pearsall's out, so Jennings has been out and he only gets a couple of catches today, and then Kendrick Bourne, who's a guy that they released one time, they brought him back and he dropped a big ball today. He dropped 2 balls and he made a nice catch towards the end. But if you don't have to double guys, your running game's going to struggle because of the extra guy in the box.
What was this all about? I didn't see. We were out here kind of setting stuff up. I didn't see Saleh and Cohn, Liam Cohn, the head coach of the Jaguars, arguing at the end of the game. I have no idea what they were getting into it about. I don't know.
I'd take Saleh in that match.
Yeah, I would definitely take Saleh in that match. We were talking last week. I forget who it was. Maybe it was a while ago when we had Silver on, and we were talking about coaches fighting and who would be your number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, Saleh's not a head coach anymore, but we had Vrabel and
I'm taking Vrabel all day long.
Dan Campbell too.
Yeah, I think you know what, Campbell's an offensive guy though,
and DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, he'd be a tough one.
DeMeco Ryans definitely, but Vrabel.
I tell you, who would be last on my list is Mike McDaniel.
Oh yeah, we had him as a 16th seed. We may even put him in as a 17th seed. Look, if McDaniels makes a tourney, he's playing in Dayton. Okay. He's going to play in Dayton. He's going to be in a first 4
And will
game.
he show up in his capri pants?
I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's something that they're going to have to figure out one way or the other. And maybe now that you're starting to get your complement of wide receivers back, Kittle should be back in a couple weeks. I think he has to miss 2 more games.
Yeah.
And then he's eligible to come back. Maybe you start getting that going. And look, we talk about Kittle all the time, and we've talked about in the last couple of weeks how much they miss him in the red zone. They miss him in the running game.
Yeah, they miss him big time in the running game.
Big time in the running game.
Well, and they also miss. I mean, I like Robinson, but he looks very tentative carrying the ball, and he had a couple opportunities today. He just looked like he was tentative hitting the hole.
Yeah.
And we're used to having the Jordan Masons and the Mosterts and the guys that could step in when McCaffrey was hurt, and they'd go in and they'd take a lot of the carries away and keep him a little bit more healthy. We're not seeing that right now. Robinson, they're not getting a lot of production out of him, and I think that's an issue right now.
Well, I'd like to see him get a few more carries. He only had 5 today. Get him in a little bit of a groove. McCaffrey 17 rushes today, 6 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. That was a nice call. That little touchdown that he had, the shovel pass to McCaffrey. But no, I'm with you on that. But McCaffrey today, 2.9 yards per carry. Yeah,
there was no room. I mean, he just didn't get loose at all. Usually there's 1 or 2 plays where he gets loose, he gets out in the open, but nothing today. And you watch that, and I still go back and I'll harp on that, the fact that they have an extra guy in the box, and that's I don't care who you are. If you're running the ball against 8 guys in the box, it's difficult, and that kind of forces you to throw the football more. And if you're not getting guys that are beating one-on-one, and then it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. McCaffrey did have 4 yards a carry against New Orleans, 13 carries, 55 yards. But here's season total so far: 22 carries, 69 yards against Seattle, 13 for 55 against New Orleans, 17 for 52 against Arizona, and 17 for 49 today. So the last 2 games, he's had 34 carries and 101 yards. That's not Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's doing work in the passing game, no doubt about it. I'm sure he leads them in receptions by maybe a long shot, but running the ball, and again, that's who this team is, right? I mean, that's who they are. And at some point, they got to figure out a way to get this guy going, get him going, get Robinson going, get the running game going a little bit, because if they don't, look, I'm as big a fan of Brock as you're probably going to find. I think Brock Purdy is a top-level quarterback, but he's not a guy that you're going to say, hey, we're going to just throw away the running game and let this guy go ahead and win it for us. That's not really who he is. So it's just something they got to get fixed.
Well, and that's a tough fix until you get guys healthy. And when you get guys healthy, then everything's going to kind of come together, you hope. But the 4 turnovers, you think about it, those are 4 drives that you had opportunities to get points on that you just gave up, and you gave them 4 more opportunities. And just to still have a chance, you got to take some solace in that to have a chance to be in the game with that at the end of the game is pretty phenomenal. I mean, and Jacksonville, I think, what's Jacksonville's record now? 3-1?
They're both 3-1.
Yeah, and they obviously haven't played a tough schedule just like the Niners haven't, but 3-1 is 3-1 in the NFL, and the Niners, they can't go back and hang their heads. They got to get ready to play in 4 days, and against a good Ram team that coming off a good win for them.
Yep.
So, you can't hang you're going to have the injuries. They're still going to be there on Thursday. I don't see any of these guys just miraculously getting better and coming back. So you're going to have to play with the same guys, and they're going to have to find a way to get a little bit better running game. I don't know if that's getting Juszczyk involved more in the blocking scheme, and the tight ends have got to do a bit better job blocking too. I didn't see a lot of blocks out of the tight ends today that were opening up holes.
And look, the Niners got to start forcing some turnovers as well. What is it now? 11. I saw the stat today. 10 straight games they didn't have a pick. Now it's 11. We thought they had one. We thought Upton Stout had one, and he grabbed Hunter by the back of the jersey and did the Ricky Bobby slingshot, engaged, and went around and pick. I was like, oh my God, the Niners have a pick? Niners didn't have a pick. So the pass rush I thought was an issue, but even at that, they still did. I mean, they still were really good, I thought, defensively. Maybe really good's pushing it, but good.
Yeah.
Like they played well enough defensively to win the game.
Hey, if you give up 4 turnovers and a special teams touchdown, and they're only giving up 20 points.
Yep.
That's not bad. I mean, usually 4 turnovers and a special teams touchdown, you're looking at 35, 42 points.
Yep.
And to give up 26 and have an opportunity, that's something to build on.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something like I would love to see them go out and get more defensive end help, and maybe the answer is just getting more depth there. So the guys that are playing don't have to play as much. But even at that, I don't think it's a critical issue right now. Now, you could also say the level of competition they're playing right now isn't as stiff as it's going to be on Thursday night. Rams are going to be the best team they face this year. I think the Rams are better than the Seahawks. I think the Rams are better than the Cardinals. Cardinals looked all. I'm surprised that game was 23-20 on Thursday, because I didn't feel like a 23-20 game. It felt like Seattle was much better than Arizona. New Orleans, we know what New Orleans is. And again, Jacksonville's 3-1. Give them credit. I still think they're a very mediocre team. So we're going to find out I think we'll find out more Thursday night than maybe we even have in the first 4 games, because the Rams are good. That's a good football team. And look, I know they won by 7. They got a late touchdown where the Colts decided to go with the bold strategy of playing with 10 at the end of the game, and then have one of you guys trip. So basically it was 9 guys out there on the field.
Oh, and don't forget the guy that fumbled the ball out of the end zone.
Oh, yes.
Just
yes.
That should be a fine. That should be an automatic fine. Huge fine.
Unbelievable that you do
If
that.
I was a head coach in the NFL, I would set that before the season. If any of you idiots drop the ball because you're showing off before the end zone, $100,000 fine.
It's not that hard.
No,
it really isn't. Just hold on to the ball until you cross the line.
Well,
and it was the Adonai Mitchell, the receiver out of Texas.
Well, and the Rams, if the 49ers rush 4 against Stafford, it's going to be a really long night. If Stafford has any time like that, he's going to pick them apart with 2 receivers like Nakua and Devontae Adams and Williams out of the backfield. They're going to have to bring heat. They're going to have to line up and bring 5 and 6 on a lot more opportunities than they did today. When they did today, they put heat on him. They made him throw it early. It wasn't until the second half they did that. They're going to have to do that from the get-go. Because Stafford's too good and those receivers are too good, and they're going to if you give them that time, they're going to get open. It's impossible for the DBs to cover that long. So I would expect a more aggressive game plan out of Saleh going into this game.
Yeah, and I think on the opposite side too, again, I talk about the running game. They're going to have to figure it out, because if you don't get the running game going by Thursday, the Rams can bring heat. They can get to you, and it's not. I mean, Jacksonville can too. I mean, Jacksonville is a pretty decent pass rush, but the Rams can get to you. So it's going to be critical for them to, find ways to get to Stafford, find ways to run the ball a little bit. And then hopefully, Purdy's toe is a little bit better. So we see the ball get brought down a little bit to guys. Now, look, it's going to give Robinson another week, kind of get rid of it. This was a preseason game for him. So it'll give him another weapon to get going. So I'll be honest. I don't feel like 3-1 to me feels pretty good. Like if you're a Niner fan, I would think 3-1 feels like, you know what, that may be better than I don't want to say we deserve, because they earn those wins, but boy, a play here, play there, they could be 1-3 right now, and this season could look a whole lot different. And not only that, the 2 wins they got where it felt like they dodged one, those are divisional games too.
That's right. They've
already got one up on Arizona. They got one up not only on Seattle, they got one up on Seattle in Seattle. So I don't know. I feel like this game, they weren't good this game. They were sloppy this game, but I still feel like 3-1. It feels like, okay, yeah, you can work with that.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you look at the standings, they're going to be on top of the standings in the West, and because of the victories against the 2 divisional opponents. And the Rams, and the Rams, they play, that'll obviously separate some teams. And this is a huge game for them. This is the biggest game they've had, obviously, so far this year. And as you said, maybe for the whole year, it'll set the tone. If they could sneak a win out of this Rams game and put themselves up on the Rams by 2 games,
that would be massive.
That would be huge. And they've got tough games to come, but it's not time to panic. That's for sure. There's certainly things you got to worry about. The pass rush is one of them. The running game's another. But the biggest thing is getting people healthy.
So what do we got? Niners 3-1, Seahawks 3-1, Rams 3-1 is what we got. So yeah, big game on Thursday. If you could do what the Chargers did today, no, not today. They lost today, but what they did to start the season, which is sweeping the division. Go 3-0 against the division. That'd be huge to go 3-0 against the division if you could get that. If you get that Ram game, we can take some comments too. If you got any thoughts on today's game, again, it's there's not a lot to say that the Niners, if they would have done this or would have done, they turned the ball over 4 times. You turn the ball over 4 times, and again, you got to just figure out the special teams crap.
Sloppy, just really, really sloppy.
But it feels like we talk about it way too much when it comes to this team. I don't know if other people do shows or talk about their teams and go, our special teams suck. Feels like baseball, where every fan always says our bullpen sucks.
Yeah,
our bullpen sucks. I mean, the Niners does, the Giants do. Their bullpen sucks.
But all facets of it. I mean, with the exception, the last couple games, the extra point field goal, he's been good. He's been very good. Couldn't ask for any more than him. But punt coverage, punt team, the kickoff return, they're all making just mistakes that end up costing. And the way I used to look at it as a coach is that if the kickoff guy returns it to the 35-yard line, that's 1.5 first downs that you don't have to make. And by giving that up, you're giving them those 1.5 first downs, the 15 yards that if they were starting the ball at the 20, even though they don't start at the 20 now, just mathematically, when you give up that yardage, especially in the NFL, I mean, it's so hard to gain yardage in the NFL. To give them those off special teams is huge, and a punt return touchdown, that's really inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, I think now, what is it, the 30 now? You get the 40 if it goes out of bounds. Somebody should have told the Jacksonville guy who caught it out of bounds. Why? I don't know. The same reason a guy for Jacksonville decided to down a punt and he was already in the end zone. Like, it's special teams guys just sometimes like, what?
He was standing in the end zone and he jumped up in the air in the end zone and tried to bat it back.
Go in the end zone? Like, what are we doing here? Like, really? Let me explain the rules to everybody, okay? Explain the rules. You don't want to catch the ball run out of bounds on a kickoff, or punt doesn't really matter all that much.
But you don't want to catch a punt inside the 5-yard line, going backwards.
Catch inside the punt 5-yard. We talked about that last week. I'm sure we'll talk about it again later in the season. And for everyone that I'm gonna explain this to everybody, and we'll explain it throughout the course, maybe of the season, because we'll have to. The punt going into the end zone or downing a punt is different in college and pro. College, you can run into the end zone and push the ball out, but as soon as the ball breaks the plane of the goal line, then it's a touchback. NFL, you can't go into the end zone, but the ball can break the plane. As long as you're outside the plane, you can jump in, and before you touch the ground, you can bat it back out. So two totally different things.
It's like saving a ball in basketball, going out of bounds.
And I see people screw it up all the time. Like, know what league you're playing in. Understand the rules of that league before you start running down and going nuts. And I love the guys, too, that the ball's about to be downed at the 1, and the ball's literally about to stop, and then somebody comes sliding in and takes it into the end zone. It's like, what happened? I mean, well, maybe I got hit in the head too much playing football, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing out here. So I'm just gonna slide and touch the ball and take it into the end zone and see how that works. Let's take some comments, and we'll get to some other games too.
Somebody had asked about is the NFC West the toughest division in football right now?
Oh, NFC West, AFC West,
NFC North.
NFC North. Those are the three that I would say probably are the top three. If I had to pick one right now,
I'd say the North, the NFC North. There's no weak teams. I think Chicago, they lost. They're getting better each week.
Yeah,
and they're always tough to play in Chicago. Green Bay is Green Bay. Minnesota is up and down with the quarterback situation, but they've got the talent to go out and beat anybody. And Detroit's Detroit. They're good. And so I don't see any weaknesses in that conference or in that division.
If you want to use today's game as a tiebreaker, we got to pick the NFC North over the AFC West. Since Chicago went to the Las Vegas and won, but KC got a huge win at home against Baltimore. Even though the Chargers lost today against the Giants, I still think they're really good. But Denver's I'm not sure about Denver this year. They haven't looked great.
Bo Nix, he struggled. He had a great year last year, and the NFL's very good at figuring guys out and figuring out what they do well and what they don't. And maybe they found some things with him, and it certainly looks like that with CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
he's really gone down. He had a great first year, so the NFL finds out what you're weak at, and they exploit that. So it's yet to be seen. Their defense is no joke, though. I mean, Denver's defense is really good, and that keeps them in all the games. There's so much parity in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And from top to bottom, who would have thought that the Ravens would be 1-3?
Yeah. Not me.
No, I thought they might be the best team in football to start the year with the two of the toughest weapons. I don't know how you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and teams are finding ways to do it, and they're stopping themselves with turnovers and dumb mistakes. And
I mean, think about that. We're talking about the Niners being 3-1 and feel like they've kind of dodged some things. The Ravens could easily be 3-1 if they didn't fumble against the Bills late and they didn't fumble against the Lions late. They could have won both those games. Then you'd be like, okay, we lost to the Chiefs. Okay, that's fine. We're 3-1. They're 1-3 and looking up on it, looking up at it now. Now, I would say looking at that division, even at 1-3, I'd still favor them to win that division because I'm still not sold on the Steelers. No idea what the Bengals are going to be because of Burrow's injury.
And the Browns
are the Browns. I mean, defense, offense. I mean, their defense is fantastic. Their offense is just brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
What offense?
Thank you.
And they don't. I mean, defensively, they won that game last week against Green Bay. They had no business being in that game.
Yeah.
And their defense single-handedly won it for them.
Yeah.
And today they held it close. They played tough, and they just can't score. But their defense did. They played well.
Yeah. NFC West, from what I've seen, that doesn't really matter. It's kind of the ranking stuff that every website does, and I always say, who cares about the rankings? Like, we have playoffs. You make the playoffs, you don't make the playoffs. I don't need to know if my team's ranked 7th or 4th or 14th. It doesn't matter. But for the sake of argument, I would say the Rams have looked the best so far, then the Niners, Seahawks, and the Cardinals. Cardinals to me.
Yeah.
I'll reiterate what I've said for 4 or 5 years now. If it's a team quarterbacked by Kyler Murray, I'm not expecting much.
No. And I just don't see them winning a lot of games this year. He'll make some great plays. He makes some unbelievable plays with his feet, but then he just makes some crazy plays where he costs his team. And it also looks like there's sometimes he shows up and he's ready to play, and there's other times it looks like he's thinking about the next video game that's coming out.
Call of Duty, baby, let's go. We got our Call of Duty show. We're gonna let everybody know when Call of Duty comes out. We'll all bet against Cardinals that week. So apparently that's the hottest tip I can give you this year. So we'll take your comments. Let's quickly go over the other games. We got the Packers Cowboys tonight. Vikings Steelers, didn't see it, not waking up. Love watching football, but I don't love it that much. You're probably up for that.
Yeah, no, I watched the whole thing, start to finish.
6:30 on a Sunday, no problem for Berg.
I was up at 4 watching the Ryder Cup on Friday and Saturday. So
that hurt. That hurt. Henley, don't leave a putt short that you need.
Boy,
I mean, the U.S. team did put up a valiant fight today, but they just vomited all over themselves Thursday and Friday, both afternoon and morning. But look, the Europeans were better. They just better. They played better. They deserved it. They earned it. It wasn't like all the matches USA was just stumbling and bumbling. There were some they played well. Like DeChambeau and Scheffler played really well, and they just got beat by Fleetwood
and Rose,
who didn't miss a fucking putt. But it got interesting there for a minute. We were like, oh, hey, we could. Now we can't. It's over. So Bills Saints, I mean, it almost felt like cat mouse. Like the Bills were playing with them a little bit, and then they finally decided, all right, we've had enough of you. Let's go and win the game.
And you can't get up for it. I mean, it's so hard to get up for every game. And you look at the schedule, they played tough games already that they've won. And they look at this game as, okay, we just need to get out of this healthy. Let's get out of it with a win. And early on, they made some mistakes, but I never felt like that game was in jeopardy, even though the Saints took the lead there. The Bills, I felt, controlled the game and just turned it on when they needed to. And the Saints are a bad football team right now.
Talk about a bad football team, the Titans. Oh,
the Titans. There could be a couple of coaches looking for a job
awful.
Soon.
That's awful. Comment, without those turnovers, do we win? No way in knowing. Doesn't matter. Again, the defense played well enough to win. Offense didn't play well enough to win, but I can't tell you if they don't turn the ball over, they win the game. Purdy 8 ints in his last 5 starts. Yeah, like, look, here's the thing about Purdy. Purdy doesn't have the biggest arm. Like, you'll never confuse him with Brett Favre in any way, shape, or form. But Purdy does have some gunslinger in him. Mm-hmm. Purdy's going to stick it into some slots where, I mean, how many throws has he made over the middle that he completes that go an inch over the linebacker's hand and then an inch before the safety gets there, where it's just like, oh my gosh, that was like, wow, he really threaded that one. He's had a lot of throws like that. So, I mean, Purdy's going to do that. Purdy's not, and I like this about him. Obviously, everybody hates picks, but I like a guy when he sees it, he lets it go. Like, I'm just going to let it go. And I don't want too much of that, of course. There's a fine line there. And I think he walks it pretty well. But I don't want a safe quarterback. I don't want check down Charlie. Right? It's not open. Let's check it down. Let's just check it down. Let's just check it down. I think check it down is good for quarterback stats. Your QBR may look better because you don't throw picks. But I don't mind a guy that's going to let it rip occasionally, and he will.
Oh, he'll let it rip. They've made a living off that deep crossing route, both to everybody, to Ayuk, Jennings, Pearsall. I'd love to see him come back with some shallow crosses underneath that now, because those linebackers are starting to sink. They're sinking really. It's deeper than they have in years past, and I think that they need to come with some shallow crosses underneath that just to keep those backers from sinking so deep. Yeah. And I haven't seen that since Debo left. You know, Debo was a big shallow cross type guy. Get it to him early. I think Pearsall could be that kind of guy, and I think that with a full slate and complement of players, they can do that. And right now, they're just not getting that. Kittle was that guy as well, dragging across, and they just don't do that right now. And if you look at the picks that he's thrown on that deep crossing route, he threw one against New Orleans. He threw one today. They're sinking so deep that you're not going to get it over him. There's just not enough space between the safety and him. If you get the shallow cross going and that linebacker can't sink, then you're going to get that gap, and that void's going to be there. So I think that's probably something that Shanahan's going to be looking at, because they are sinking that deep.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, because that is a staple of Shanahan's offense, to that deep dig where you get guys behind the linebacker in front of the safety. Ayuk caught a ton of those, and I'm sure he will continuing on. Shanahan had that horrible challenge. You know what? If it's the one I'm thinking of, the one where Hunter caught that ball, it was closer than I thought. It really was, because the ball, it looked like he caught it with his forearm, but then rolled over on it. I don't know if it was worth a challenge, but it wasn't one that I looked at and said I wouldn't have challenged that, because I've seen lesser things get overturned. There are times in the NFL you're like, what are they doing? Then all of a sudden they'll overturn it. So,
and you don't have much time to think about it. You're getting a word from up top, and somebody may have seen something, and it was a big, it was early in the game, but it was a big opportunity right there to get the ball back. And as opposed to having that first down, had it gone their way.
And I think that was deep in Jacksonville territory.
It was deep. Yeah. And it was deep there. So, I don't blame him on that. It's a split-second decision. If they get a playoff, you can't challenge it. So you either got to do it or don't. And he probably got word up top that, hey, it may have hit the ground.
Yeah. Now, look, I know everybody wants to get upset with the coaches when they challenge things. Coaches have very little to do with it at that point. It's the replay guys up top. In basketball, the Warriors, Steve has 3 guys sitting behind the bench that have the replay. They have a computer out, and they're looking at stuff. And they're the ones, you'll see a coach look behind the bench, and it's either thumbs up or thumbs down. You got to rely on those guys. Now, it is up to the coach to give them some parameters, like kind of a risk assessment thing. Like early in the game, you better be like 95% sure we're going to win this, because I don't want to waste a challenge. So you better be sure. As the game goes on, field positioning dictates stuff, score dictates stuff. Maybe you're thinking, okay, we'll loosen that up to 65%. Like if you think it's worth a challenge, let's roll the dice and take a shot at this. But the coaches aren't looking at it unless it's right in front of them, or sometimes Steve says he just wants to challenge something to get a T so he can yell at the officials. I'm like, why'd you do that? He goes, I just wanted to yell at the officials. So and that happens too. Or just like, I'm pissed off. I want to yell at somebody. I'm going to challenge that, even though there's no chance they're going to win that. So I don't necessarily blame the head coaches on that, because it's not the head coaches that are challenged. Let's see. John was upset the 49ers accepted the penalty for half the distance of the goal rather than 3rd and 12. God, John, I'd love to remember that one for you. I'm having a hard time. Again, I don't have time to watch the game over before we get out here. It's watch the game, and we were watching other games too. So we have 2 TVs set up. We'll watch the Niner game on one TV, and the other TV's Red Zone, or it was Ravens Chiefs for a while until the Ravens were getting blown out, and that's my son's favorite team. He turned it off. He just said, I'm done with this game. So he watched the Rams beat the Colts.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't remember the play, but I'm assuming he's saying going in that they turned the penalty down. That would have put him at 3rd and 12 instead of went probably on the 6-yard line. Then if it was going to be 3rd down, I understand that situation right there because you feel like your defense can get off the field and force a field goal. If you go back and I don't think it would have been 3rd and 12. I think it would have been 2nd and 12.
Okay.
And then they would have the two opportunities to get a touchdown as opposed to one.
Yeah.
That's I don't recall exactly, but looking at how he's worded that in that question.
Well, give me the John, if you I don't know if we'll get to the question again, but if you give me what time the game had happened, I'll go back and make sure I look at that. So when we have Brent on tomorrow, we'll definitely bring that up. Yeah, that's the question right there. So just let me know what day, because I'll get to it for you. It'll just be tomorrow with Brent as I'll watch the game again tonight after I watch the Packers and the Cowboys. All right, any more comments that we have for tonight? We're probably getting pretty close. We're getting about 10 minutes away. Browns, Lions, again, we talked about the Browns. Is Purdy throwing too hard with all these drop-off passes? Nothing I noticed. You notice anything?
No, they're in the NFL. First of all, he didn't have a strong enough arm to throw too hard.
Yeah.
And I thought that the balls that were dropped were perfectly thrown balls that should have been caught. And a couple of them were untimely, too, especially the one that Kendrick Bourne dropped, which was a big drop. That was a big drop in that scenario. And I believe that was a 3rd down, and they would have kept the drive going, and they ended up having to punt it away. So I don't think so. I don't think he's throwing it too hard. That's for sure.
4th and 2, Juice. And I did notice that when McCaffrey ran into each other on the mesh. There are plays that don't look like they're fully in sync. And let's remember, Purdy missed 2 games. And not to say that he needs a bunch of games to get back into it, but anytime you miss games, it takes you a little while to kind of get the flow going again and just feel like you're in sync with everybody. So I'm not sure how much that played a part. The fact that he had missed the last couple games.
And I don't know if we're giving Jacksonville enough credit.
Good point.
They've created a minimum of 3 turnovers in every game they've played.
I know.
And so the 49ers aren't the only team that's turned the ball over against them. And they don't have the big splashy names defensively, but they get after you.
Yeah.
And they're doing something right if they created 13 turnovers in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because we have a tendency to forget that. And I always try to remind people that, and I should remind everybody that every single time I do a show. Those guys get paid too. I mean, those guys are pros too. It's not like they're playing Appalachian State. I mean, they're playing an NFL team. So give them credit for forcing the turnovers and give them credit for doing what they needed to do to win the game. It's simple as that. It's never one team lost the game, although sometimes it is, they lose the game, but it's always another team that does something to force you to lose the game. Todd says trade for Hendricks. Kiddo and I come back. Good. It's on. Yeah. I again, it'd be great if you can get Hendrickson. Is it Hendricks? I think it's Hendrickson.
It's Hendrickson.
Yeah. I thought it's screwing me up there. It's not Ted Hendricks.
But what do you trade?
I would trade draft picks. I don't know. Somebody floated the idea Hendrickson for Mac Jones. I'm like, I'm not giving up my backup quarterback.
No.
I go, Purdy already got hurt once, and then Mac Jones proved he can run the offense. So, I got to keep the backup. But if it's picks, and I don't know what it would be, 3 and a 4, 3 and a 5. I don't know.
I would advise against that. We saw that the Niners gave up so much draft capital in some other trades in the past to move up to get Lance, and we're really seeing the hurt right now without the depth. They gave up 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance, and people keep forgetting about that, and that's depth.
Are they missing it anymore, though?
Well, but they wouldn't.
They could have fucked up those picks.
They could have, but even if they fucked them up, you're looking at possibly a little bit more depth. Even if they're not starters, they're guys that can come in. They've had so many injuries that somebody could come in and fill that void better than what they've been getting. And it's a trickle-down effect because now you're playing with guys that really you weren't counting on playing. And that means your special teams, because you don't put your starters on special teams or the guys that play a lot, you put your last guys on the team. And now you got last guys on the team that wouldn't even be there, but they're playing special teams for you. And it's a trickle-down effect. And obviously their special teams have been bad. And I attributed a lot of that to that. The fact that you're playing with guys that you weren't counting on. You were counting on these guys, certain guys, to play special teams. Now they're actually in your rotation. And so you're not playing them on special teams. You're playing those undrafted free agents and guys that you signed to come in as for the practice squad, but they're actually playing. And that's been a big problem, a huge problem.
I guess it depends on. Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate that. I guess it really. Do you mind? I mean, seriously. It depends on what they think of this team. Do they think this team is a team that can win a Super Bowl? Or let's just say get to the playoffs. Because once you get to the playoffs, you can win a Super Bowl. NFL and it seems like sports are a little different now. Like once you get to the playoffs, you have a chance. It used to be when we were growing up, there were like 2 or 3, maybe 4 dominant teams. And you're like, yeah, you made it to the playoffs, but you're not getting any further. You're not going to beat that team. That's like going back to the 90s when it was like Niners, Cowboys. Hey, y'all made the playoffs. Congratulations. One of these two
teams. You're playing for second place.
Yeah, one of these two teams is going to win the Super Bowl. That's just the way it's going to be. So, look, and again, we talk about would they trade. It's not just them. Cincinnati has to want to trade Hendrickson too. They like have to want to move him. So I don't think they're at that point yet. Again, they're 2-1 going into Monday night. If they lose that, they're 2-2. And guess what? Ravens are 1-3. So I think everyone in that division right now is thinking, hey, we got a shot at this. We got a shot at winning this division. So maybe. But this is something I think is 2 or 3 weeks down the line before Cincinnati figures out, okay, what's our trajectory this season? Where are we headed this season? Because if you think you're headed toward maybe we can hang in this thing and maybe we can make the playoffs, then guess what? Then Burrow comes back for the last couple games and maybe he's able to play in the playoffs if you can hang in there. But it certainly doesn't look like anybody's running away with this division right now.
No, and Cincinnati's defense isn't what's been winning them games.
No.
And to get rid of your best player on defense would probably make no sense. I think the next couple of weeks with what Cincinnati does will determine whether they want to start moving guys. Yeah. If they don't make a move to get another quarterback and they're going to stick with Browning or go with whoever, I don't even know who their other guys are now, and they're not getting it done, they might want to have a fire sale. But if they have so much money tied up into their offense, I don't know.
Chase and Higgins and Burrow, yeah.
So there's the draft capital for them would be huge because they're going to have to build that defense back up. But there's so many ifs, ands, and buts about what's going to happen with trading for somebody. And I don't know of any other names out there. We mentioned Hendrickson, and there may be somebody else out there, but I don't know offhand off the top of my head.
Somebody said Sunday Night Football and the Calf Show. Those are almost like, I feel like I'm looking at the Cavs right now. And like I see them all the time. So it don't really faze me, but looking at them like on the screen right now, I feel like Ogden, Max, can you put up an NC-17 sign on the screen? I really feel like we like if a kid walks in there, the dad's gonna like cover his head. Oh, don't look at that. Jesus.
We're trying to get the female viewership.
Holy God, you're gonna get a lot of viewership. Those things, if I can, Jesus. Lou hungry right now, or is she ready for? No, God,
Lou's always hungry.
Why'd you make me say that? If I say that, of course she's going to perk up. Or is she ready for Sunday Night Football? I think she's ready for me to just go back inside and just chill on the couch and grab a beer, and she'll lay next to me. We'll be good. There you go. There you go. There's our NC-17 sign right now. Adults only. Is there any way? You know what we need to work on? NC-17 and the 1 isn't a 1, but it's one of Bergie's Cavs that just is there. So it's like NC, it's like Cavs.
I'll send you a screenshot.
After that, no, we don't want the screenshot. God damn it. We don't need that. My paltry Cavs have nothing. But yeah, it's gonna Tom. There you go, Tom and the Calf Man. That's a show. Wasn't there like a wasn't there a
BJ and the Bear?
No, that's what I was thinking. But I was thinking of a different show. But I didn't think of BJ and the Bear. Greg Evigan.
Hey, BJ and the Bear. It could also be NC-17.
Yes, I guess it could. I guess it could, depending on what he's doing with the Bear at the time. But the Bear is like, hey, look.
Or the BJ.
I'm not. Thank you. I'm not. Bear says, I'm not into that. You kidding me? Do a little 70s TV. I don't know. Greg Evigan ever do anything else?
No. I'm surprised I didn't. I remember that name now that you said.
How did they fucking make a show out of that? Let's have a chimp.
What did the Bear do?
And an 18-wheeler, and let's make a show out of this.
And why would his name was Bear?
Yes, the chimp's name was Bear. Yes.
Who's better, the Bear in BJ and the Bear, or the chimpanzee in Every Which Way But Loose?
That was
Clyde.
That was an orangutan.
Orangutan.
Yeah, the orangutan.
That was Clyde.
You left turn, Clyde. Go left turn, just punch somebody. The orangutan was a man. The orangutan was that was with starring.
Well, no, Clint Eastwood.
Correct.
And one of the greatest names of all time, Philo Beto.
Philo Beto. That's right. Was Sandra Locke in that one?
Sandra Locke was, yes, she was in both of those. Any Which Way You Can and Every Which Way But Loose. As was the great Jerry Reed.
That's right. Because I believe her and Clint Eastwood had a thing, didn't they?
They did.
For a while.
They did for quite a while. I think Clint Eastwood, from what I'm reading, had a thing with a lot of women.
Yeah, well, hey, you're Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why would go get him, Clint? What was Clint now, about 92, 93?
And then some.
He hasn't let the old man in.
No.
Thank you.
He's up there.
The Warriors got Al Horford? Did they? I thought they'd wait until Kuminga signed to get Al Horford. I mean, I knew they were going to get Al Horford. They were only going to get him for that last 8 weeks. I think we knew this, but we're kind of waiting for Kuminga to sign. I can't wait till that just ends. Just get the signing done. Let's move on. I'll be so happy when Kuminga moves on to another team. Not that I don't like him. It's not nothing to do with that. I just started talking about it. We got half the people that think trade Kuminga, half the people that think Kuminga's great. So, what do you make of the game tonight? Packers, Cowboys.
Micah Parsons coming home to.
Yep, absolutely.
I think he might wreak havoc. I think he's going to play with a little red ass on him, and he's good enough where he could control a game. And I would be shocked if he doesn't at least pressure Dak multiple times. And he's got something to prove right there. I think Green Bay's a much better team. Dak Prescott, I've never been a fan of his. He manages the game okay. He just doesn't make enough plays. And with CeeDee Lamb out, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, Pickens is a good wideout, but I don't think he's a guy that you can rely that heavily on. I think Ferguson as a tight end is going to catch a lot of balls because, he's going to have to get rid of the ball. Parsons going to be bearing down on, and the obvious is the running back and the tight end getting rid of it quick, and they do that anyway. Yeah. But I think for them to win, they've got to stop. They've got to force Jordan Love into some mistakes, and he's prone to that. And if he makes mistakes like he did last week against Cleveland, then they'll have a chance. But if he's on his game, I think they're going to be tough to beat.
Packers -6.5.
Home game on the road
in Dallas.
I take the Packers.
I would take the Packers too. We'll both take the Packers. All right, real quick before we get out of here because the game's about to start. Just overall thoughts. We got a quarter of the way through the season. We got the Bills 4-0, Steelers 3-1, Colts 3-1, Chargers 3-1, all leading their respective divisions. Eagles 4-0, Lions 3-1, Tampa 3-1, and then a whole bunch of 3-1 teams in the. What jumps out at you in the? I was going to say in the NFC West, but what kind of jumps out at you?
I think the Rams are a little cut above. I think their defense and their offense are both equally good. Their defense has been shutting teams down, and they score enough points to win. They've got a lot of weapons. I think the 49ers have been overachieving, even though they haven't, they've won 3 games against some lesser opponents. I think that they're gonna have a lot of close games, and they're gonna win a few, and they're gonna lose a few. They're not good enough to go out there and just dominate teams. I think Seattle's going to get better and better. And Darnold's learning that system more, and he's got some weapons to throw to. I think Seattle and LA are probably the 2 best, and with the 49ers being, not too far behind. And with things going their way, they could be right up there at the end.
Yeah. See, I would have the Niners ahead of Seattle, behind the Rams just a little bit. Again, none of this matters because they're all going to play each other. We're all going to find out at the end of the year. I think 3-1 is let's put it this way. They put themselves in a really good position because I think 10 wins will get you to the playoffs. Right now, all you need to do is go 7-6. So play a little over 500 the rest of the year, which I think they will. I think they'll do better than that. But right now they put themselves in a position. They're at the quarter pole, basically, a little bit less than the quarter pole, to go 7-6, get 10 wins, and get in the playoffs. Colts are the biggest surprise for me. The Colts, I mean, hell, they could have easily won that game against the Rams today if Mitchell didn't drop the ball like a fool.
Yeah.
Or
the guy doesn't fall down on the coverage and give up the 90-yard touchdown pass.
90-yard touchdown, absolutely. Just looking at the stats, and that was a 90-yard touchdown is what it was. I'm looking at it right now, what it was. It was, 88. Yeah. So let's just, for funsies, see what the yardage was. 462 to 323. It was close going into that last drive. It was a 50-yard differential. So I think the Rams are better than the Colts, but the Colts are probably my biggest surprise of the season, and they don't play in a particularly tough AFC South. That's right there for them.
You know, one thing, one of the people asked in the question, would the 49ers have won without those turnovers? One stat that I didn't look at, I want to see what happened, is how many points they gave up off those 4 turnovers. I really don't know offhand. Looking back, I think it was 10, but I'm not sure about that. It may have been more, but I think it was 10. And so if you look at those points off the turnover, it certainly makes it a different game. That's for sure. Because you never know if the 49ers are going to get points out of those drives.
Yeah.
But you did give up 10 points because of that.
Yeah. I would say the Steelers are kind of my overpriced team right now, 3-1, -2 in scoring differential. I don't think that's going to last. But guess what? What do I know? All Mike Tomlin does is win.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how they win. They look ugly. They look bad. They look this. They look that. But they find a way to win. I would say the most disappointing team is the Ravens. I mean, no one expected the Ravens to be 1-3 right now. They're tied with the Browns at the bottom of the AFC North. And
I mean, Buffalo. I think Buffalo right now.
Yeah, but they're not a surprise though.
No, but I just feel you get that feeling like this could be their year.
Yeah.
You know, things are flowing their way, and if they stay healthy, they've added some good tools defensively, and you know, Joey Bosa has done a great job for him already this year. He's made a big difference, and with Milano back at linebacker, he's missed 2 years. They're solid defensively.
Yeah.
And Cook, I think Cook is one of the most underrated backs in the league. He can do it. He can catch the ball well out of the backfield, and he's running the ball well.
No doubt about it.
You know, it just feels like they've got a little something going special right now.
Yep. All right, so Monday, Brent Jones. Tuesday, I think we're gonna have Dave Fleming. We're gonna break down the playoffs. They're all set today. How great is it that the Mets missed the playoffs? Fucking $300+ million payroll, 21 games over 500 at one point this season. I think it was like 45-24, and just fucking vomited all over themselves. The Reds lost today. At least that's what my son told me.
They did. They both lost.
All the Mets had to do was beat the Marlins. Just beat the Marlins and you're in the playoffs. Nah, we're not going to beat the Marlins.
We're not even going to score.
They got shut out. They did 4-0. Oh my God.
And the Giants got to 500.
Yay. Giants got to 500. Yay. So we'll talk to Dave about the Giants season moving forward. We'll talk about the playoffs as they're going to get started. One of my favorite sports months of the year. You get the baseball playoffs, start of hockey, start of basketball, college football, NFL. It's like every single night there's going to be something on for a month. And I love this month. I love the Major League Baseball playoffs and obviously the NFL and college football. And then you get NBA and NHL mixed in there as well. So
don't forget the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
We're trying to forget it, but
trying to forget it. God. He came to play today. You might want to come to play on Thursday and Friday. That'd have been God, I love the Ryder Cup so much. So much fun to watch. It's different than anything else. It was just a bummer on Friday. It's like, well, this sucks. There's not even anything to like watch. Had my USA shirt on and everything. I was like, go, yeah, go.
Ole,
go Jags. Look at Ogden. just to make everybody mad. Ogden and his Go Jags. All right, we're gonna let everybody get out of here. Have a great Sunday evening. Enjoy the Packers and the Cowboys. Next show will be tomorrow with Brent Jones. Berg, thanks for coming again.
Always fun.
Appreciate it. And Bergie will be here on Thursday. So we're going to do a show on Thursday after the Rams-Niners game. And I have a feeling.
A fireside chat.
We're like FDR out here. We got the fireside chat. FDR didn't have a fountain, though. We got the fountain. And FDR didn't have Mike either. So Mike's going to be here. It's going to be awesome. It'll be dark outside. We'll have the fire. We'll have the fountain. Oh, it's going to be and guess what? Yes, Lou will be here too. You going to be here Thursday? Yep, Lou will be here on Thursday. So big week this week. Show Monday, show Tuesday, show Thursday, and then we'll fill in the rest. So everybody have a great Sunday evening, and we'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow.